I don't understand the drop frames. I really don't. I really don't understand the drop frames. Um, I hope that I can get people in here. I don't understand. Um, it's on the YouTube side of things that YouTube tends to like have um that it takes up a lot of oh my god. Um I don't understand. I'm only doing two now. I'm doing Rumble and YouTube, and I don't understand why we have drop frames. I really don't. Um, I hope that we can have a good stream. But I don't really know. Um, I hope we can have a really good stream. I look so fuzzy on YouTube, so fuzzy. Um, so again, if you guys are joining me on Rumble, thank you so much. I'm trying to grow Rumble. Um, Over on the YouTube side of things, sometimes it just, doesn't work as right as well. Um, I'm trying to figure out something quickly before we actually start. Which one is this one? This one's the 5 minute. Okay, that was the 5 minute one. Okay, we can we could delete that one. We do have a lot to go through. Let me just tell my community. Um, Doing that same thing again. Okay. How does everyone like my background? Not only this background, but also like the thumbnail background. Okay, I just want to make sure everything is good. Yo, LC, yes, that is right. We are going to be talking about Brock Lesnar being back. Um, we're definitely going to talk about that. We're definitely going to get into that. Um, I'm just I'm just tweeting out as much as I can about, where to come find the live streams and where to hang out at. I have been off of Twitter for I think since like Thursday. Um, as like a mental reset, of course. Um, I haven't really done one of these like live in a while. And by the way, if you guys are experiencing not like enough smoothness over on YouTube, I can't really do anything at this very moment because then I would have to like stop the live stream and basically fix the fact that maybe I have to turn it down from like 60 frames per minute to like 30 in a way frames per minute. I don't know why YouTube is demanding so much frames and however you want to call it, but I am using OBS. I haven't switched over to something else, but like YouTube is the one that like takes the most from what I like experience and whatnot. Um Also, just a heads up for everyone that's over on the YouTube side of things. I have been streaming on Rumble. Rumble allows me to basically do watch alongs and whatnot. And I do it in an educational way. So it's not like we're just sitting there and not really reacting to anything. We are reacting to whatever we're watching. I did the WWE Unreal episode 1. So that's over there at Rumble. Cuz over here on YouTube it completely blocked it. Um do I know why it blocked it? Of course I know why it blocked it. But it was still like I was pausing talking about it and mainly like, hey, let's talk about WWE Unreal. Because it just seems like on Twitter things are just getting worse. Nothing's really getting better. But I think we should start soon. So if you want LC, I guess tweet it out for me. If you the YouTube link, get people, get other people in here so we could talk about professional wrestling. Um, I should be able to do this without a problem, and this as well. Oh, everything is so slow. I'm gonna have to like check out my stuff, man. But everything is so slow. Um, CM Punk was definitely screwed. Um, we're gonna get into all of that. We're gonna work backwards. That is what we're going to do. We are going to work backwards. I'm just trying to see if I can get more people in here. Um, is my stream that bad right now? Okay. No, I don't think Jade didn't need the title. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna make this just a little bit bigger. I mean, do I get the wrestling news? I don't really like looking at wrestling news unless there's something you really want me to talk about. But what wrestling news do you have? So I guess this is gonna be like not really a first official Square Circle podcast kind of deal, but anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of the Square Circle Podcast, hosted by yours truly, Marie Shadows. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about everything SummerSlam 2025, Night 1, Night 2, because if you haven't heard the news, Brock Lesnar returns to WWE, and of course, the IWC does not like it. The IWC loves to play victim. They love to be like, oh, woe is me. And they love to have the high ground morality. So I dropped it to 30 frames. I dropped it to 30 frames and we should be good. Okay. So, um WWE does bad. AEW needs to step up and get the win they need to compete healthily on TV. WWE didn't do bad. AEW needs to step up to WWE, not be soft. They can't. AEW can't step up to WWE. They can't at all. What is this? One second. Are we good over at Rumble? It got broken? Oh. Wait, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Do I have to Okay. One second. Seriously, if you're not having trouble streaming, um you're not a streamer. Okay, so now we should be good on Rumble again. Cause man, um yeah, we should be good on Rumble now. Okay, so this is what I want to tackle, right? because we had very, very big explosive um moments that has happened on WWE SummerSlam. Basically, uh can I just have like a very normal stream, or is it like the OBS? When people hear this on Spotify, they're going to be like, what the fuck? So there have been moments at WWE SummerSlam 2025 for night 1 and night 2. We're going to start with night 2 because Brock Lesnar returns, and that's like a very, very big topic. I do not like reading any kind of dirt sheets. I do not like reading any kind of news and stuff, because we all know that at this point it's bullshit. They may get like one or two things correct, and that's just like throwing shit to the wall and seeing what sticks. But like, you know, for the most part, dirt sheet people don't know. They get fed wrong information, and no matter how many times we tell the public this, it just seems like, you know, wrestling fans in the IWC want to be like, I want to take their word, like, no matter what. And then you have the people who believe everything, and it's like, you know, why are you believing what they're talking about? So for Brock Lesnar to return, I was not expecting it. Brock Lesnar still gets a pop. And despite what you might want to think in your Activision or activism is activism, your activism 24/7 in wrestling, nobody cares about your activism. Nobody does. You guys got to stop being activists. You guys got to stop with this whole like, you know, I'm going to get upset at this, but let this pass. And you're not having the same energy throughout, where it's like, you know, you don't stand for this, so then you're not going to stand for something else. There's just a lot of performative anger that goes out there. Especially when like especially when the wrestling journalists love to be like, hey, let me ask you this gotcha question about the Janelle Grant lawsuit that Vince McMahon is dealing with. WWE is just named in there because of the place of work. It's not even like WWE's fault. People make it seem as if like WWE is also a person when WWE is an entity, and people might think that I'm like, you know, don't know what I'm talking about. But the way fans talk about this and always want to be like, WWE is in this lawsuit, WWE is currently in an active lawsuit, and it's like, WWE is not, in a way. You're trying to make WWE sound like a person rather than just like the workplace. So the workplace, just the name is involved, but the main person is apparently Vince McMahon. Of course, we know that these are just allegations that Janelle Grant put together. And basically people just want to side with the woman no matter what, when it's like, you need to understand that women lie, men lie. Before people attack me, because I know people are emotional. People need to stop being emotional, because that's not gonna help you understand that this case has been going on for the past, what, like 2 years in a way, right? And there has yet to be a resolution to it, whether that's a payout or whether that's like jail time, and we're still talking about it, and it still pops up. And there was an amendment to it, which basically means that she added something that wasn't originally there. And if you are a victim of true crime that happens on a sexual level, or just happens to violate you, you shouldn't be amending stuff. You shouldn't be asking for money. If you truly are a victim, you should be asking for justice, because you want to see this person be put away, so that way that person doesn't do anything horrendous to somebody else, male or female. But for some reason in this society, we're told that you got to get that money. Oh, you got violated, you got to get that money. Rather than like, you got violated, man, you better put his ass in jail. Money should be second for trying to put somebody in jail for violating you in a very bad way. But then again, do not wait to tell, you know, a cop, a lawyer, set up the process. Do not wait. If you wait, then there are loopholes to where it could be thrown out. There are loopholes where you won't get the justice that you need. And there is a statute of limitations depending on the state that you're in. I don't understand why in society we have to make it a stigma as well. That like, a woman doesn't want to be seen as dirty or, broken because she got violated and she's not going to tell and she's been very, very scared. It's very sad that our society is like, they put that stigma on us, but they also want us to seek justice against it. But then we also have the stigma, and then we have all these other rules and loopholes and stuff. And it's like society does this. Society does it. The only reason why I'm bringing this up is because like we never have this like nuanced conversation with it, where it's like, you shouldn't believe women and or men 100% until like the full story is out, and all the evidence is laid out in front of you, and then you can make your decision, or you just don't make a decision because you're not part of that. You weren't in the room, you weren't there, you're not a fly on the wall. Like, we should not be privy to traumatic stuff that happens to other people, and that we shouldn't be privy to also know the information and like pick a side, because the moment you pick a side is a moment of like picking and choosing, and the moment that you pick something could be the wrong one, could be the right one, or could be in the middle. You don't have to comment on everything, but in the IWC they're more about like, give me the brownie points for siding with the woman when the woman just wants money rather than justice. And to have in that lawsuit of like all the gifts that she bought herself a new car, she could get whatever she wanted, and if she was a true victim, again, she wouldn't be asking for money, and we wouldn't be like 2 years later still talking about this and still bringing it up when Brock Lesnar comes back, just because she decided to amend the lawsuit to have Brock Lesnar's name in there, and Brock Lesnar didn't do anything. She did not say he did this. She was like, oh, I'm just naming him in there because Vince wanted, to pass me around to him, so that he could sign the contract to come back to WWE. And it's like, what? Why are you name dropping him? And that sounds so far-fetched to be like, hey, yo, Brock, you want to get in on this? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then for people to get on their high horse about, Brock Lesnar and calling him names, that, that's not him. Really false names. We entered into a social media world where people can throw really once upon a time damning names on you and get away with it. They can call you all sorts of things in the book that would legitimately have some weight to it, but it does not have any weight to it at all. Those words. If I repeat it, YouTube is not going to like it. Even though I'm on Rumble and I could probably say the words, but the words, which ones, And it's like anybody could throw that at you. Anybody can throw around these buzzwords as if like, it's the walk of shame and people are like, "Oh my god, you're this or you're that." And it's like we got to step back as a society and stop trying to be like, "You're this, you're that. You're this buzzword." And it's like you don't even know them, but you want to attach that to them so that way you can either end a conversation, you can feel superior by doing that, and then also you get to ruin their life. And it's like, what? Why would you want to ruin somebody's life? Okay, so again, Janelle Grant just put Brock Lesnar's name in her updated lawsuit. Brock Lesnar did not do anything, so he's not committed of a crime. He didn't do anything illegal. His name is just dropped there because she wanted to put there to also further damage his career, everyone else's career in the lawsuit. But why would she want to amend the lawsuit? Like, why? I don't understand why she would do that. And this is like the first time that I ever had to talk about the lawsuit in the manner of like how I'm doing so. The first time that I had to talk about it. Because I did not want to talk about it at all. Because people get emotional. People are always like, the woman is right. Believe the woman. And, Vince is horrible. Vince is this. Vince actually did this. And it's like, we don't know. But people on the internet talk so much shit and talk as if like it is true about it, and it's like you weren't there to witness all of this. And people would be like, "Oh, but it's text messages." Anybody can falsify text messages. Anybody can do anything to text messages. Just because there are text messages doesn't really mean much. Did we not learn anything from the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp court case? It doesn't mean much. You need to also have like physical evidence of this happening. Did she decide to go to the hospital to get like swabs, to get tests done, so that way there can be a bulk of evidence to further, prove everything that she has put in this lawsuit? No. It was text messages. It was probably, I don't know, there was pictures, but like text messages, receipts of like what she bought, what she was able to do, and like the story of just, being with Vince and apparently being passed around and whatnot, and, trafficked, which doesn't even make sense to me because it was still with the same person. If anything, Vince sounded more like a pimp than Traffic, but Traffic is now the buzzword of the year, where people pretend to actually care, but they really don't care, because if they actually cared, we would actually put a stop to trafficking. But yeah, it's really weird how people pick and choose definitions of words that they want to use, buzzwords that they hear. The media doesn't help, because the media is all like, well, these are the words we're going to use. We're going to change the definitions, and we're changing the definitions every other week. So you better keep up. And, the internet goes along with it. And, if you're watching on like TikTok and videos that are like 5 to maybe like 20 seconds long, you're gonna get the wrong definitions of words. You're gonna get the wrong usage of words, and people like to change the definitions to fit their narrative, and people like to just change things to fit their narrative because they don't want to live in reality. They want to live in their own reality, to the point where it's like, again, woe is me, and it's a narcissistic reality. If they don't like something, they will disagree with you, and they'll call you all names in the book. If they don't like something, they go out of their way to act like a toddler. They go out of their way to be negative. Even when you're trying to present a different type of perspective, without being like high and mighty, according to some bots and burners that I run into. But, you try to really be like, hey, this is a different perspective. Have you thought about this? And most of the time they don't want to think about that, because it shatters their world, and it's really like annoying that I don't know if we're ever going to get back to like true common sense. There are people out there that will, have true common sense, but at the same time, it's like, again, they want to be in their own little bubble. So that way they could be like, yeah, it'll be an echo chamber. It'll be one of those where they are, patting themselves on the back. Um, Patting themselves on the back. So there are two places that I want to look at for these tweets. And yes, I am not logging back on to Twitter in a little bit, so I can't really like do that. And I've said it in the past that I don't really like clowning on people at all. I really don't like doing that because it doesn't elevate the wrestling community. That means that I'm just adding more negativity onto that. But I think that this is important to talk about. This is important to have this conversation because it deals with Brock Lesnar and it deals with people that just want to say shit for the hell of it. And it's like, how far of a society have like we truly have fallen? Um okay, that's not what I wanted to do. Um and I want to look at headlines too because you know, this is not from the wrestling community itself, but headlines, man. Headlines are everything. All right, so I'm going to do that at least. Let me take off the filter. So, okay. Look at this headline. This is on Fox News cuz it popped up on my phone first. And then we'll look at my buddy Kev's Substack thing. Look at this headline. WWE fans react to Brock Lesnar's return amid sex trafficking case involvement. Just coward stuff. Again, they love to throw around buzzwords. She stood with one man, apparently, and got passed around. I don't understand how that is trafficking. If it's in one place, I would consider that to be like pimping, that Vince pimped her out. But the buzzword has been sex trafficking for a while now, and it is super annoying that that has happened. Very super annoying. But again, we have been talking about, well, not me, other people in the community have been talking about the Janelle Grant case forever. Why has it not come to a resolution? And yes, Lesnar is named in the lawsuit against Vince McMahon. He is only named. He did not do any type of crimes. Janelle Grant did not say if he did anything out of pocket or anything like that. So his name was just dropped because apparently, according to her, Vince was like, "Hey, do you want to do anything? I want you to sign this contract, but I got this nice little girl, blah blah blah." That's all she says. That to be passed around to Brock, just so that he could sign a contract, which is very stupid. Um, so Brock Lesnar over here comes back at the main event for SummerSlam 2025 for night 2 to do an F5 to John Cena. After John Cena and Cody Rhodes had an awesome main event. We're going to talk about the main event too. He got a pop. See, this is the thing. Allegedly here. Just for Lesnar to re-sign with the company, Vince was like, "Hey, I am going to entice you with having sex with her." That's what it says here. Former WWE employee Janelle Grant alleged that McMahon attempted to get Grant to have sex with Lesnar in order to entice Lesnar to re-sign with the company. That just sounds really stupid. That just sounds really stupid to me. That really does. You guys can let me know in the chat for what you think. But that just sounds really stupid. That sounds like out of character. That just sounds out of character. Even though like in the lawsuit, there are times where she says that, you know, this person, that person, this person, you know, they built a brand new wall in the offices so that way Vince can have other people hear what's going on. And I'm like, listen, Vince probably is like a very eccentric guy, but I mean, if he wanted people to hear, there are other ways to do that other than like building a new wall. There are other ways to do that. I mean, for all the times that authors be writing those spicy romance books, like none of them builds a new room so that people can like hear. If you truly wanted people to hear what was going on, you'll just do it blatantly, because then it's the thrill. It's the thrill of that. But you know, yeah, that's stupid. Now this is what I was talking about here. This word right here, which I don't know what happens if I say it, but this is what I talk about with social media, is that anybody can like throw words at you and label you as something, and it's like they could get away with it when we know that this word right here is basically, you know, a badass word. And I'm not saying badass as in like cool. It's a bad ass word to have labeled on you, but people on Twitter are just like, I'm gonna call him this, I'm gonna call him that, and it's like, why are you gonna call him any of these things? You don't know anything. You don't. Just because you hear something and it gets repeated and it's horrible, you automatically want to label people as things that they are not. Another user had said, literally part of a lawsuit, but okay, man. No, he just got name dropped. They have not done a hearing, even though like this is a private matter for this lawsuit, but this lawsuit has been going on for a couple years now. There was no update about, you know, Lesnar going in to like testify. So how is he part of a lawsuit? His name just got dropped. The next one, man, is from, it's really stupid. This is from another user. FYI, if anyone comes into my mention defending Brock Lesnar, who enabled and participate in the abhorrent torture of a young woman, I will not argue. I will block you. Protect women. How do you know that he was involved, participated, enabled this? How do you know? This is why I don't like Twitter as much now, and I don't like certain personalities on Twitter, because people will talk as if they know when they don't know. Like, how do you know that he was participating in this? Just because somebody dropped his name does not mean that he participated in it. Like, that's like accusing your friend of doing something that they weren't there for, but you're like, oh, I remember your friend was there, when in reality, they probably weren't. I don't know whether or not Brock was there, but at the same time, it's like, how do you know so sure? And then when you decide to push back it's not necessarily a defense for Brock Lesnar. It's more about, we need you to be truthful rather than just saying this so you could get brownie points from the feminists, because the feminists will be on his side. And this one here is definitely, it's written by a man. I'll show you in a little bit. But like, saying something like that is you wanting to get brownie points from a feminist, because a feminist would be like, men are bad, we don't need men, blah blah blah, all this kind of shit. And they would definitely blame the man for, wrongly blaming a man for thinking that he did something wrong when he didn't do anything wrong. And then when the man is proven to be innocent, no apology, no nothing. The girl goes on the same way as normal. Nothing to see here. So I just don't like this. And it's not about arguing and it's not about defending. It's about pushing back and being like, how are you so sure that this happened? Just because it's in a lawsuit and he got named and nothing else happened after that. It's like, how are you putting two and two together? How are you labeling Brock Lesnar as this bad person that took part in the really wild stuff that was said that Vince did, which sounds completely out of character for that whole entire lawsuit. So it's like, how are you putting Brock in that same category as Vince when you don't know, but you talk so sure? That's what I hate, is the talking, is the typing and the posting of being so sure that it happened. And then what's the point of even announcing it, man? If you don't like what people say, just block them and move on, right? Like, what's the point of announcing it? Announcing it means you want the attention. So announcing this, and to be like, for your information, guys, I need to announce this. If you guys want to defend Brock Lesnar, who enabled and participated, all this kind of shit, I will not argue with you. I will block you and protect women. How are you going to protect women if you don't want to hear people out with a different perspective who's going to push back on you? You need to listen to both sides. It can't just be protect women, because then women are spiteful and petty. And I say this as a woman, and basically we could manipulate the fuck out of you guys the same way that men could manipulate us too. And then we're back to like, two wrongs don't make a right. The point I'm trying to make is that you single for attention. You will actively block people if they try to give a different perspective, not even arguing, or a little bit of a pushback to be like, yo, this isn't right. And then to protect women when women could lie just as easily as men could lie. And you got to wait to the whole entire story. But no one is asking for a resolution for this lawsuit in any way, which is kind of weird. I don't know why. No one in the wrestling media is asking like, yo, when are we going to get to a resolution? Because it's been going on for, quite a while. Something like this should have been like maybe open and shut case. If she had all the evidence and she went to the doctor and be like, hey, I need you to run some tests. I need you to make sure that we put this all into evidence, and then go to, the cops or whatever, and how the procedure goes. It would have been an open and shut case. But because she wants money, it's not an open and shut case. And then this too, fans also noticed that there was no usual formal press conference after either SummerSlam night. Instead, Triple H and other talents appeared on the post show. Good. We don't need the press conferences. We really don't. And people in chat could definitely be like, hey, he did that so he didn't have to be questioned by Lesnar. And I saw that floating around, and it's like, yeah, because the dumbasses would have been like, some stupid shit of like, you guys are in an active lawsuit. What made you think of bringing back Brock Lesnar? Did Brock Lesnar do anything? All she said was that Vince tried to entice Brock Lesnar to be like, yo, you can have sex with her if you want to when you resign, or like, would you have sex with her before you resign, or something like that, as like a little enticing thing. But like, did it happen? She didn't say that in the lawsuit if it happened or not. So I don't understand why, again, I don't understand why people will try to do a gotcha if we did a press conference. Um, and then, oh, see, this is what it is. It's not scummy. And how is Brock Lesnar a sex offender? I need someone to tell me. I need someone to tell me how Brock Lesnar is a sex offender when he's not on any registry. His name just got put in the lawsuit as an amended lawsuit. That means that the original lawsuit now has an asterisk on it because she wanted to add Brock Lesnar into it in what, in 2025-ish? I think somebody is it in this, but like she amended it just to drop his name, which is like head scratching. It's like, what do you mean that you want to add his name now, after so much time? It's not. But how did we get to the conclusion that Brock Lesnar is a sex offender? If anybody can tell me, that would be fantastic. If you're over at Rumble, if you're over at YouTube, if you're over listening to this on the VOD and stuff like that, and even on Spotify, let me know. You guys have access to give me, comments and feedback. How did we come to the conclusion? Not me, I'm not part of that we. But how did the IWC come to the conclusion that Brock Lesnar is a sex offender when he hasn't been found guilty of anything? And he hasn't said a word since the lawsuit dropped. He hasn't said a word since he decided not to be with WWE for those years and then decided to come back on SummerSlam. How did we get there for him to be considered a sex offender? Let me know, guys, because it's really annoying that people will just throw around words and label people and there is no evidence against it. And that's something that we have to fight back on. And it's really stupid. TikTok is bad, man. Like, TikTok will give me a headache and shit. And it's not coward stuff, the lack of a press conference is not coward stuff. It's stupid stuff. It's so stupid because the press conferences do not push kayfabe. And I wish that the press conferences would push kayfabe stories, characters, stories, promos, angles, rather than being like a gotcha of like, hey, can you tell us about the lawsuit, Triple H? That's not his domain to tell you guys about the lawsuit. And you can't comment on an active lawsuit. I don't know how many times we have to tell the world that and tell people online that. But again, it goes back to social media. It goes back full circle to where people want to be in their own bubble. Let's read some of these comments here. Oh, see, even people are pushing back, man. This is Mr. Science. Not saying whether the guy is innocent or guilty. He may well be either, but he deserves his day in court just like everyone else. Biden didn't give a lifetime pardon to. Really? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time a high profile athlete was named in a sex related lawsuit where the actual facts didn't line up with what the lawsuit is claiming. That's exactly the point. But when you have a bunch of emotional people that basically get told that women are fragile and at the same time women could be boss babes, women don't need a man. But then you have feminism being like, protect women, guys, protect women because we can't protect ourselves. But then for the other breath to like say it completely that, women don't need no man. Women are boss babes and shit, Exactly. That this one user was like, the facts don't line up. Ex dim convert. Okay. Not only that, but him not being named as a defendant says something. That is true. He wasn't named as a defendant. She just named him as like, oh, he was just there. Vince was talking to him. Vince was like, hey, do you want to resign? And if you do, you can have her. There's nothing else. Meanwhile, people out there are calling him the R word, which is not retarded, is the other one. And all this nonsense. How do you know? Exactly. How do you know? Were you there? For all we know, he's the guy who told her to report everything. I don't know about that. To me, Brock Lesnar seems like he just sticks to himself. He stays to himself. The suit names him. It doesn't say anything he did wrong whatsoever. Shameful how easy it is to discredit someone on a whim. That's what I hate. That's what I hate that social media has become. Shaming someone, and also discrediting someone on a whim with no evidence. No evidence. Um, See, this is true. This is why I was saying that, like, it feels more like a pimp kind of deal than like a trafficking kind of deal. Um, uh, this is this is funny. Um, I only say it's funny because things happen. We created an environment where, um, you know, we sort of hide. I was gonna say we sort of hide sex in a way. We sort of make sex like kind of bad. But if you end up talking about it in a very sex positive kind of way, we wouldn't be having this problem of like using sex as a weapon to get what we want or to not get what we want, or like emotional manipulation and stuff like that. If we didn't use it as a weapon, then this comment here of is there any big stars or politicians without sex allegations against them, if we didn't use sex as a weapon, we would all be okay. If we didn't use it as a weapon, if we talked about sex in a very positive way and in a very healthy way and in a very like curious, learning, educational way, where it's not like we have to tell you about kinks and kinks become the personality, we will be okay with sex and stuff, and we wouldn't have such a high um percentage of all these allegations and a high percentage of all the wrongdoing and horrendous shit that happens. We wouldn't be having huge trauma stuff if we decided to basically treat sex as normal, as ordinary, as positive, you know, um, and not treat it as a personality, and not treated as taboo, and not treated as forbidden, and not treated as like you got to wait till you get married because like shit happens, life happens. When you understand that like life happens, you'll understand that like we're all normal, we're all creatures of habit, and it's natural. But yeah, if we talked about and taught just normal sex in a positive light, we wouldn't have such a really high trauma thing, and we wouldn't have like lawsuits and whatnot. But our society didn't turn out that way, which is kind of sad. Um, okay, so Stella Monster and Greg Morgan, one answers disabil. I have no idea what that means, dude. And you're happy to be single. Yeah, man, shit just happens. Sometimes women get petty. But I don't know what Solomonster and Greg Morin one answers disability. I don't know what that means. Um, let's see what else we could see here before we go to the other one. Um, Yeah, man. This, I guess, over the past 10 years, it has turned around in progressive America, because we're not really progressive. We just say we are, but when truly, if you really think about it, we might be progressive in other things, but not other things, like 50-50. But like in progressive America, innocent until proven guilty no longer applies. Like it hasn't applied over the last maybe like 10 12ish years. And you smear everyone and cancel them. That's what happened. We allowed the other side to take over, and it's sad. um okay, so that was it. I wanted to show the Fox News one because of course Fox News is gonna have a headline like this, because they can't be truthful, and they don't know what's going on in our world of professional wrestling. I'm trying to say they want answers desperately. They do, but answers for like what? For the case and everything? Jesus, man. Like, do they not understand that it doesn't apply to them? Like, I don't get it. I don't know why they would want answers so desperately. Um I don't understand why they would. It makes no sense. Um so uh we're going on to the next thing, which is my buddy Kev over here. Kev has a newsletter um on Substack along with me, and I basically commented on his newsletter because he did a great job. But before we get into it, I'm gonna take a mini little break. Hit that like button, hit that follow button, and leave some comments for me to read when I get back. But yeah, I'm gonna take a mini little break. I'll be right back. Give me a second, guys. Okay, I'm back. So let's spotlight Kev over here. Um, because Kev did, like I said, did a very good write up. This is his title: Brock Lesnar's explosive WWE return at SummerSlam 2025. IWC divided amid legal and ethical debates. Right. So Brock Lesnar here. He did F5 John Cena. So as you know, last night Brock Lesnar returned. It was shocking, but he still got the pop. I want to highlight this right here. The divide exposes a deeper issue. Forced outrage, 100% true. Selective criticism, 100% true. And a wrestling fandom grappling with legal nuance versus moral judgment. Every single person on Twitter try to be lawyers. Every single person on Twitter tries to be smarter than what they are. And most of them have an anime profile picture, no profile picture, or some type of bot of a picture. And they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And they just parrot everything. And they basically end up looking foolish. So yeah, that's exactly what they do, and it's getting tiring. Stuff like that is pushed to the forefront on Twitter, and it's like, what are we doing? Why is the algorithm no longer working? And I think the algorithm changed, and obviously Elon is not really going to do anything because Elon is very preoccupied by making AI anime girls with big boobs, so that way the lonely men who already don't know how to talk to women can feel some type of comfort. And it's like, stop trying to create an AI woman, an anime girl, just to satisfy the loneliness, rather than being like, guys, listen, we got to start changing. Women, we got to start changing. We also need to slow down on having those what do you call it? Those podcasts where it's just the guys bringing on like dumbass women to talk about issues of like feminism, dating, men. Are the men like 6 foot tall, chiseled? Do they have like 7 zeros in their bank account? Oh no, they don't. Well, they can't provide for me. We got to stop pushing certain type of ideologies around, and especially when it comes to women, that like we got to stop pushing them towards OnlyFans and stop pushing them towards other things that will make them, in the podcast world of all the bro podcasts, will make them less of value. And it's like, I thought women could be whatever they wanted to be. I thought women can do everything that a man can do, plus also want to be like a stay-at-home mom, plus also want to be like a stay-at-home worker in a way for like content creation and stuff like that. But the answer is, it's like, if you really want to compete and like have money or whatever, you go to OnlyFans if you're a girl. And that's really a bad expectation that we set forth for everyone across the board, for what do you call it, for society. That's really horrible for women. But yet then they say protect women. What do you guys, I was gonna say, what are you guys protecting us from? um but yeah, let's keep going with uh Kev's new newsletter. um okay. uh So here's what I wanted to spotlight, because Kev has some more tweets by this Carlos guy. Brock Lesnar's got a sex trafficking lawsuit. What is he doing here? He doesn't have it. He hasn't testified. He wasn't brought in. He was just named. But of course, you can't find anybody that tells the truth on Twitter. You can't. You can't find anybody that tells the truth. And this is important. See, this is where I saw it, because Kev had it down. We have a comment already on. To me, all this is just another chapter to hate on WWE. It is just another chapter to hate on WWE, man. Like, it wouldn't be any other way. Why would it be? Um, why would it be? I really do need the bots on Rumble to stop commenting that they can help me with my channel if I just, contact them. Like, I'm looking to grow organically on Rumble. I'm looking to grow organically. Um, so Kev has it right here. So basically, the Janelle Grant case, context, not condemnation. Condemnation, no. Condemnation, there it is. Basically, that it was filed against Vince, John Laurinaitis, and WWE, the company, like the place of work. Not like, don't try to make it into a human being. That's what people try to do online. They try to make it into a human being. Alleges sex trafficking, abuse, and negligence. I could definitely believe abuse and negligence because some shit happens in real life anyway. But again, not trafficking because it doesn't make sense. More like pimping makes sense. And then here's where Kev says an amended complaint in February 2025 named Lesnar. So, like I said, the original lawsuit has an asterisk because she decided to amend it by putting this information in there, but she didn't really accuse him of anything illegal or put him as a defendant. Okay? And by the way, I do not have a law degree. However, if we're just looking at the facts and commenting on the facts, that's what it is. If she did not add anything else in there, then why would you drop his name in the first place? Like, what purpose did that serve? I want to know that. I want to know that answer. What purpose did that serve by dropping Brock Lesnar's name in 2025 just to be like, hey, this is what happened in 2021. I totally forgot about it. What? Alfred. I love Alfred. Alfred, I may not agree with everything that he does, but like Alfred is you know, one of the best out there to troll the IWC. Brock Lesnar is back. WWE and Daniel Cormier sent Dave Metzler and the wrestling media goons on a wild goose chase designed for Metzler to drop fake reports about Brock Lesnar being on the bad list. The second night in a row, WWE worked the dirt sheets to the benefit of MetLife. And then, you know, just making fun of David Metzler because that's what you could do. And no criminal right here. But no criminal by Grant's own admission. Janelle Grant didn't say he did anything criminal. So why are people getting on him? Like this guy right here, this Justin guy that looks like, you know, he's definitely, I don't want to just be like outright just say he's a beta, but you know, he's a beta. Brock Lesnar is involved in a sex trafficking lawsuit and WWE still brought him back. The state of this fucking company. Most of the time when people tweet out, they really do not believe what they say and they just say it because everyone else is saying it. And that is a sheep mentality. And that is where nobody learns, nobody gains a new perspective because it's all about them and it's all about being in a community because they never got accepted anywhere else. And this is what the internet does. The internet puts us in a group of people that if you have the same kind of thought pattern, you're not going to thrive, you're not going to grow, you're not going to know anything. And then when it's too late, you're going to be like, how the hell my life passed me by? Or if you want to change, everyone is going to hold something above your head, like no matter what. Brock Lesnar was named. He's not technically involved in anything. And yeah, WWE brought him back. What are you going to do about it, bro? You're not going to do anything about it. And what is up with this, you know, the state of this fucking company? Like, what is that supposed to mean? What do you mean the state of this company? They brought back Nikki Bella, who abused her husband, and it's been documented, but nobody had outrage for that. I don't know why. You know, I don't understand why they didn't have outrage for Nikki, who abused her husband, and it turned out she abused her husband, rather than the other way around. But nobody got upset at that. Everyone welcomed her with open arms. But the moment that Brock Lesnar didn't do anything, he's not welcomed with open arms. This Jason person, Brock Lesnar was named in the Janelle Grant case. In case you forgot, gross to see him back. How is it gross? What do you mean gross? Liberals tend to use gross and yikes. And that is so stupid. And white girls who are dumb use the word gross. That's so gross. Oh my God, that's so gross, guys. How dare you do that? Like, oh my God, it's so gross that Brock Lesnar came back. I can't believe it. Don't you know that he did this, isn't this to that woman? Oh my God, it's so gross. Grow up. Nobody uses the word gross. And how is it gross to see him back? You guys don't know what he did. He'd been away for so long. And then all of a sudden, when he comes back, it's sort of like, hey guys, um we have to get the narrative going. But yeah, liberals tend to use gross and yikes as if like they're toddlers. Yikes. Yikes. Oh my God. Oh, gross. Oh, that kind of bullshit. Like, man, I know there's more vocabulary words in the world that you can use. Um, okay, so let's see this. I This outrage over Lesnar's return highlights a perceived double standard in wrestling fandom. Compare this to All Elite Wrestling, where Jon Moxley remains a fixture on TV despite a June 2025 lawsuit. A production crew member, Christopher, sued AEW and Moxley for negligence and assault, alleging Moxley shoved him during a 2023 Dynamite episode, causing severe injuries. Video evidence supports the claim, yet Moxley, AEW's world champion, faces minimal backlash compared to Lesnar. Exactly. That's just an example of like the differences of the fandom, and it's so stupid to where like AEW could do no wrong and WWE could do everything bad. And this is what happens when you listen to dirt sheets and you let dirt sheets run wild and manipulate the masses, divide the masses. Oh wait, what current mainstream media is doing that? Is the same thing. It's the same thing on social media. It's the same thing in the IWC. Nobody wants to have true conversations. Everybody wants to either be right, be on a high and mighty horse, and don't really care because they don't care about this. They will just say whatever they want to say, and that's about it. People on this app really think their rage and meltdowns will make Brock Lesnar disappear from WWE. In the same breath, you could also say that those same people around all of social media created a huge campaign to have R-Truth get his job back. The moment that R-Truth got his job back, everybody went quiet though. But R-Truth is making a lot of money and going on tour for a little bit, and he dropped his album, the White Album, and like having a country kind of tour. But the fact remains is that while yes, people on this app really think that their rage and meltdowns will make Brock Lesnar disappear from WWE, I totally agree with that. But I also want to just throw the other thing out there too about how like the same people also made a ruckus of getting R-Truth's contract re-signed, renewed, and back in WWE for him to work, and all those people are quiet. So I don't know. I just want to throw that out there for like just thinking and some perspective. The only thing that matters is TKO ain't dumb enough to bring him back if he's a problem. That's true. If Brock Lesnar has a history of continuously doing this, when this is a new story that popped up to be amended in Janelle Grant's case, if Brock Lesnar had a history of doing stupid ass shit, then it'll be a problem. And then everybody's feelings will be justified. But just after one little thing, like one little thing, if he did or didn't do it, you all out here acting like lawyers, laughing my ass off. Relax. Exactly. Stop acting like a lawyer. You're not a lawyer. It's all selective outrage. And then ethics versus legality, the Lesnar dilemma. They all look the same. Women like her, they all look the same. And they all say some nasty ass shit. And if you call them out on it, it's like, they get upset at you. But this is nasty. Nasty. This is what I was talking about. It's, acting like a feminist so that he could get the brownie points. And I talked a lot about this. It's all forced outrage. But then again, this is true here to highlight this. This isn't to dismiss legitimate concerns. If there were legitimate concerns, we wouldn't be like trying to dismiss it. But if there are, like plot holes in this whole entire thing, then, we're going to call out the plot holes. This is so stupid. He's not actively in one because he hasn't testified or anything. I really don't like Jimmy Van, so I'm going to pass over him. And that's about it. And I said that he did a good write-up. He did a good write-up. Go subscribe to my buddy Kev. Link is in chat. Yo, Dennis, what's up? Glad that you are here. Welcome. Yeah, the NDA Jericho and Kylie Ray situation. That thing is still weird. But yeah, so now that that's over, because I wanted to spotlight those two, let's really talk about the match. Let me see. What can I Oh, it's on my phone. Okay, so the match of John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. There was something completely different about that match, and that main event. And I really appreciate it. Now, I could be nitpicky, which I'm probably going to be nitpicky because there was just some stuff that was off about certain types of transitions when it came to the main event of Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. Okay, so this is where I am getting into my, I guess, coaching tape study thing, my breakdown kind of deal. Let me grab the picture just so I can have it on screen. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, hit that follow button if you are enjoying. Hit that like button as well. I'm trying to grow on Rumble as well. And I am obviously trying to grow on YouTube. So if you're here, hit that like button, drop some stuff, drop me a comment in chat, share it out to somebody, because I want to get more people in here. If you guys want to know, again, if you're just tuning in, I have not been on Twitter in the past 4 days, so I'm not really using that as my reach. I really would love, word of mouth and just simple sharing and stuff. That's all I ask for, is simple sharing. That's all I ask for. Simple sharing, simple conversations. So yeah. This picture here of Cody Rhodes raising the hand of, oh no, I'm sorry, John Cena raising the hand of Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes is now the new WWE champion. I technically do not like it, because it's a lot of virtual signaling going on right now in the IWC. I bet, man. I just can't, man. For the sake of my own mental health, I just can't, because you can't talk to people who want a virtue single, and we allowed 12 years in a way of saying to everybody it is okay to virtue single when it is not, especially when they want to be right, especially when they not want to do the woe is me, and they take no accountability, no responsibility. They say whatever they want to say, and we created that mess on the internet. and nobody would take accountability for it. But with all of that being said, right? Um, John Cena and Cody Rhodes had a wonderful main event, to the point of like, oh my God, this match has not ended yet. To me, it felt about right, because this was like both men wanted to prove to the world that they can be the face of the company, carry the company. And I reviewed the John Cena promo on SmackDown, where everybody on Twitter was saying that John Cena had turned babyface. And I was under the impression that Cena turning babyface was just a ploy. But I guess it's true that he turned babyface. Cody Rhodes became the heel in the match. But then again, I think that Cody Rhodes, even though we're all seeing the pattern of Cody Rhodes becoming a heel, I think that Cody Rhodes is getting corrupted by the belt. Because what is the one major underlining theme that WWE really has, but they haven't really explored as a viable story? And that is becoming corrupted under a championship title belt. I think in the past, maybe like Edge will say that the belt corrupts. There have been very notable figures that say that a championship title belt corrupts the person who has it. And that's something we need to explore. And Cody Rhodes is the right guy to explore that story. Now, for the match itself, it wasn't bad. There were some stuff that I would have been like, can you guys sell for like a little bit longer? Because they would have been a very high impactful move that Cena would do to Cody. And then all of a sudden Cody is like right back up. Or after the high impact move, John Cena will have Cody in a fireman's carry where he has him on top of his shoulder. And Cody would, like with a spark of life, counter the move and do something else in a very quick fashion. And I thought like that, to me, even though I'm surprised my I guess my fan brain was turned on no matter what. Like I was watching it as a fan, but this is me critiquing it. But I did not what did I usually say? It did not take me out of the match when he did that. I was just noticing it. I was like, oh, this is happening a little too frequently sometimes, but it did not take me out of the match for that, which is a very good thing. However, overall, this was a really great main event for night 2. I really wanted John Cena to carry the title onto next year, where he loses it at the next WrestleMania, even though December is the last date, as I've heard, around and around. I really wanted Cena to do that because I was really enjoying Cena's run as this heel, as this guy that said he's going to ruin wrestling. And then now I have all these questions about, well, why did we need The Rock? Why did we need someone to sell their soul to The Rock? Why did we have that storyline? I would have liked The Rock to appear at SummerSlam rather than Brock Lesnar, and that's only because of a story continuity kind of thing. It has nothing to do with Brock Lesnar being name dropped in the lawsuit, because I'm not like all of the virtue singling idiots online. I just wanted to know, like, why couldn't we get The Rock to continue the story that he started? I do think that even though we're going to continue to watch WWE Unreal, and by the way, if you want to watch WWE Unreal with me, all you guys have to do is just follow this. We're gonna watch it, we're gonna break it down. We do educational stuff over at Rumble. So basically, I wanted The Rock to return because I feel like sometimes in WWE, even though there is one big universal vision for when they write stories, right? And they help out the wrestlers and they're like, "Hey, we're going to go this way, we're going to go that way. This is what you're going to do, this is what you're not going to do." Um I think that The Rock should have his own story kind of finish what he wants to do, because the final boss thing is cool, and also selling their soul to The Rock to gain gain like all the riches in the world, because The Rock has a lot of connections. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that for your own personal gain, you know? So I would have liked The Rock to be there to finish out his story, but it is what it is. We got Brock Lesnar, no big deal. I think we got Brock Lesnar because they are going to set up Brock Lesnar versus John Cena at Paris at the end of the month, because it's a nostalgia and it's a treat for Paris. And then I think Brock Lesnar is done, unless Brock Lesnar wants to go after Cody Rhodes to just start up again. The last time that Lesnar was there and Cody Rhodes, and Lesnar basically gave Cody Rhodes the win, unless they want to do that. But I really do think that Lesnar is just coming in so that way we can get one more time between Lesnar and Cena, because this is Cena's last hurrah. You got to bring in all of the nostalgia stuff that made John Cena and made WWE at that time, because again, that was another time in history where WWE was at its best, that WWE was on fire like it is now. So you got to just bring people in and make it more entertaining and stuff. So that's what I think. I think that Lesnar coming back is just to be a nostalgia thing, and just to be like, oh, John Cena over here is having his last hurrah. However, I do feel, sorry guys, I do feel that Lesnar is sort of like this watchdog kind of way, that he comes back at very specific times in WWE eras, and like moments. The problem with Cody winning is there are no strong heels to fight. I I don't know, man. I think at this point, while we still have baby faces and heels because that's how it always operated, I think at this point it doesn't really matter. Um, it really doesn't. It really doesn't matter who's a baby face or who's a heel. Whenever someone goes against Cody, um, you know, it's gonna be a switch up, like what we saw. But yeah, I do have to agree that like there is no strong heels at this very moment. This is why I think it's important to start building somebody else, and give them the rocket, and let them go after Cody. Um, Brock Lesnar might be that guy, just because, or we could have somebody else. But I do feel like Brock Lesnar is that watchdog that comes back at certain times in the year, and certain times of like moments. I feel like because Cena lost, he might have been like, "Yo, this was supposed to be your last run, and you lost. Cody Rhodes is not a rookie, but like, let's just go with it. You let a rookie, so to speak, to like take the belt off of you. Like, what is this? Some shit like that. I see Lesnar stirring the pot. As far as the match, that main event was good, man. That main event was good. I just have some issues with the way that moves were transitioned and stuff, but yeah. Yo, G, what's up? Thank you for joining the chat. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Who turns heel? Cody. Cody should turn heel and or be an anti-hero, because as we saw during the main event, Cody Rhodes did everything in his power to destroy Cena, even though the stipulation was a street fight. So weapons were available, but John Cena didn't use as many weapons as, you know, as much as Cody did. Even though some people could debate me on that, that's okay. But Cody Rhodes was the one to take down a little part of the ring and use the turnbuckle and hit John Cena, and they both used the rope and whatnot. But you can tell that Cody Rhodes was struggling with this, and you can tell that Cody Rhodes was like, I gotta do this. I gotta beat him no matter what. Like, all the regular moves aren't working. You know, Cena became Super Cena. It was a really well put together match. Because like I said, like I say, modern wrestling on the indies have lost the art of storytelling within the ring. You guys can learn something from Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Yeah, so Lesnar comes back, F5's John Cena, and I really do like the way that Cena was like, "Oh fuck, I gotta fight this big ass monster." And yeah, F5. We're gonna go to Paris. We are going to go to Paris. It is going to be John Cena versus Brock Lesnar at Paris as a little treat. As a little treat. Okay, does anybody have any comments on that? Or they want to add their 2 cents? If you are enjoying the stream, please make sure to hit that like button right here on youtube.com /Square Circle Podcast. Also, Lesnar doesn't have to call Rhodes a rookie to make that point to Cena. Cena pointed out that Cody used to be his sidekick on the road. Yeah, I know. I couldn't think of anything. I couldn't think of anything that could fill that without calling him a rookie. That's the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, yeah, call him a rookie. Woohoo. Just so that way people could get upset. It is a picture of Brock Lesnar. Because people want a virtue single, but that's not happening here. Not at all. Okay. You got your ass kicked by your chauffeur when this was supposed to be your last ride. Okay, that's better. That's better. Cody versus Cena is a 5-star match. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 5-star match, man. I give my approval to that. Now I want to quickly I have some more pictures. Okay, I want to quickly talk about this. This has happened at night 1, okay? Another really good main event of CM Punk versus Gunther for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship title. The title that is on Seth Rollins' shoulder. Listen, I have explained my thing with CM Punk, okay? I haven't really, like, if I ever get to meet Punk, I'll talk to him about it, which is nothing bad or anything. It's just sometimes, you know, as a fan, you just get super emotional and super angry. And I didn't like that CM Punk threw everybody under the bus and did a tell-all podcast on Coca Bandit's podcast. And, you know, I was just like, you could have got a second opinion. You could have did this. You could have did that. I don't think Vince would have been like, oh, let's strip him of everything. If you would have just talked to Vince and talked to people. But Punk is stubborn and all that kind of stuff. He has me blocked on Twitter, which is totally okay. No big deal. But then years has passed. He came to AEW and he totally looked and felt like a totally different CM Punk, a guy that matured and understood things a little bit more better. And then brought back the nostalgia thing with his AFI entrance when he fought MJF. By the way, people were kind of upset at me that I said that MJF peaked when he fought CM Punk and hasn't been the same since. And I will stand on that MJF is not the same ever since he feuded with Punk, because Punk knows how to tell a story. So he guided MJF with that. Maybe some more people could get upset at me. Like, I don't know, man, but like, that's just an opinion. It's not really fact. Unless like, I don't know, I guess if multiple people agree with me, but I don't think that's how that works. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I will stand on it that MJF peaked when he fought CM Punk and had the feud with him. And then coming over to WWE, it just feels right. He understands that he has to play ball now. But one day I will talk with him and like forgive him and then, shake on it and that's it. So I have a love-hate relationship about Punk and whatnot. So with that being said, I really enjoyed CM Punk versus Gunther. I did not expect CM Punk to win the championship title belt after everything that he's been through. He was in the main event. He won the championship title belt. You saw him cry, real tears. And, he celebrated for a little bit. And then you hear Seth Rollins' theme song. And you could just tell in CM Punk's face of like, this motherfucker better not. And whether or not we got worked, probably we got worked, or Seth Rollins' knee wasn't as bad as it like was or anything like that, where he just needed some time off his foot, or maybe like he really wasn't hurt, but they had to do it for story. Either way, Seth Rollins comes down, and CM Punk should have ran out the ring. CM Punk should have left. But he didn't do that. He didn't leave at all. He just decided to be stubborn and fight, Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins beat him, and the championship changed titles because Seth Rollins is also the ultimate opportunist. And now we have a new world heavyweight champion, and I'm like, how dare you take it away from Punk? I wanted to see what Punk would have done as champion. What kind of matches he would have gave us, what kind of story he would have gave us, what kind of promos he would have had, and the back and forth between Rollins and Punk. But then again, it has been stated that Rollins wants to make sure that Punk does not get to celebrate or have any type of gold while he is still around in WWE, which is still an amazing story to have a really good rival like that, but still, let's CM Punk enjoy the championship title just a little bit, man, just a little bit, but it did not happen that way. However, this picture here is very, very powerful. It's a very good picture, and it's a reminder that anything can happen in sports and entertainment, and anything can happen in WWE. The MJF and Adam Cole thing could have been as good as his feud with Punk, but the whole Jay White program got mismanaged to all hell. Supermax at Full Gear sucked, and Cole's injury killed it dead. Yep. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. Um, um, okay. So, I wanted to showcase that because that was a good main event. Um, Now I want to talk about this. I want to talk about Jelly Roll and Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Was I expecting anything grand? No, not really. But I was really interested to see how far Jelly Roll has come in his training in a very short time. I think it's a very 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 short time. I don't think it's that quick. Um, uh, well, that long I should say, because it does sound like you know very quick. Anyway, uh, I am proud of Jelly Roll living out a dream of his to wrestle in a ring and just have something very, very, very quick. I do like the storytelling. Jelly Roll gets it as an entertainer. Um, and he's good for the entertainment part. As a consistent wrestler, I don't think this is going to be happening just because he's 40. I'm surprised that on night 2 he was able to just stand there while they're like, "Hey, Jelly Roll is joining us at like ringside," where everyone sits at. And I thought that I was like, "Bro, are you not sore? Like you should be sore." Um, First of all, I don't know why they had Jelly Roll lay like what is it? No. Uh Vertical is up. Horizontal. I don't know why they had him lay down like this. When it's supposed to be more like this. I was like, yo, they are going to hurt his like tailbone and his lower back and his spine because that's not a really comfortable position to do that. However, Logan Paul doing a very high leapfrog and getting into the right position and landing directly on Jelly Roll in the most safest way ever was fantastic. That means that WWE also has like a lot of trust in Logan Paul to do this to Jelly Roll, because if anything would have went wrong, it would have been very bad for everybody. It would have been a very bad PR day. But then again, this is wrestling. And so in wrestling, things happen. Yo, Gills, welcome to the stream. Yeah, it was good. Welcome to the chat. But yeah, I want to give props and flowers to this. And also after this, when he was hurt and he was milking it, he milked it a little too long, too long, but he milked it. Obviously they did not tell, they didn't tell Bunny. If I was next to his wife, I would have probably been like, he's okay, don't worry about it, he's good. Because I knew that Jelly was good, and the way that they were selling it, holding him, walking him, and he's gonna go to the back, but then he's like, no, I can't leave Randy Orton, and he goes in, he gets a pop, man, he got his second wind, and he went in there and choke slammed Logan. Logan jumped a little too high, but it's okay. And I forgot what else Jelly did. I think he also did a black hole slam. But it was fun. It was a fun match. It was a good match. It delivered. It didn't have to do more than what it needed. Nah, man, no. Listen, his wife Bunny does not live in the world of professional wrestling, and she can sometimes be emotional. But she has been working on like, excuse me, not being like too emotional, but it wasn't like, it wasn't fake. I can tell that like if someone is not in the business, or like if someone is not used to watching wrestling or being around wrestling, and that's not like their thing, if they're gonna experience that, it's like for real. And that's just me, like, for experience and whatnot, because it happens to me too when I watch some of my buddies, and my buddies don't tell me about like certain spots that are gonna be happening, and you legit think like they're fucking hurt. Because it happens to me. Were Jasper Troy or Abyss involved in Jelly Roll's training? I know Abyss was. Abyss was involved in Jelly Roll's training. I do not know about Jasper Troy. Because Jelly Roll out here hit the black hole slam very similar to like how Abyss would hit it. It's just that I think Abyss is probably taller than Jelly Roll, just by maybe a couple inches. But Jasper Troy was definitely not. Jasper Troy is a part of NXT. And I think I don't know if he I don't know, no, he didn't win the Legends of Future Great Stain. But anyway, I really do want to give Logan Paul and Jelly Roll their flowers for doing really well. Obviously, Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, true 100% professionals. Like you would want to be in like you would want them to train you, kind of deal. I really did enjoy that tag match, and I was looking forward to that tag match. Everything else in WWE, I was like, okay, cool, this is good, this is good. But I was more interested in seeing how Jelly Roll would have his first match. Unfortunately, Jelly Roll took the pin. I wasn't expecting Jelly Roll to get the victory, but man, did he put on one hell of a performance. Because this guy, loves performing. Singer songwriter, awesomeness. Logan Paul, as much as I don't like him personally, as an athlete, he's he's really, 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 really good. Um, okay, that is all for the pictures. Now I know for a fact if we were to listen to like Cody Rhodes' comments on the post show and stuff, um, YouTube is not going to be as happy because YouTube is YouTube. Um, let's do this instead. So this is what we're gonna do. Stevie Richards just dropped his take on Lesnar. We're gonna listen to it. And I don't know what we're gonna do after that, but I do know, like I said, if um we do decide to listen to some WWE post show stuff, um YouTube is not gonna like it. Rumble, on the other hand, is gonna like it because uh it's Rumble. Rumble allows us to have freedom of speech, and like basically do educational stuff. So I dropped a link in chat, and yeah, we want to do educational stuff and react to stuff. That's the best place. Stevie Richards, I don't really get hit with anything. Um, I want to say thank you guys for liking the stream and also following if you are going to be following Rumble and also YouTube. Just a reminder that memberships are open on YouTube, and also memberships, not really memberships, but gifted subs are also open on Rumble, and super chats on both sides. So just a reminder that that's there. In the meantime, I'm gonna take another little mini break. But when we come back, we will listen to this and we will react to it. I'm just gonna put it out there. I would like one day to have, at least a super chat to read. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, this was definitely a shock. And if WWE was looking for shock value, they got it with Brock returning. But with the context, if you look at it from the bigger picture, Brock just coming back, giving Cena an F5 is something. But what I was looking at is how does this really translate into the Cody Cena thing? And then, of course, Cena and The Rock, is that completely dead? It probably is right now. And then you're starting over and resetting Cena like halfway or more into his retirement year. So I was kind of like, I was wrong
Resetting.
about the double turn, but we were right that said Cena has to turn heel at some point, or turn babyface at some point from being a heel and have that feel good send off with his retirement tour. But is Brock the right guy? He's coming back strong. And is he going to put Cena over with his first supposed or alleged, we'll use the word alleged a lot in this, I guess, but his alleged like return, which should be a strong return where he runs through people. So I think the timing of the return and the person he actually ended up giving an F5 to. Now, if he gave one to Cody, I would say, okay, we have something here and some intrigue. Where does Cena fit in with this, with his history against Brock and his current history against Cody? But it feels like there's a lot of doors being shut, the Cody and Cena thing. And then Brock, out of nowhere, they're going to continue something from years ago when Brock returned last time, what was post WrestleMania Miami. And then he literally squashed Cena at that SummerSlam match. Remember that? It was like 22 Germans
Yeah,
and just
yeah,
beat him.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I remember that. I think it was like elimination, not elimination, but Extreme Rules when that was still a pay per view. Maybe it was that, and he came
No, I
back and
think
he
it
did
was
like this.
SummerSlam. I think it was SummerSlam after WrestleMania.
I think he came back after a WrestleMania, and then I know like the short match with John Cena was there, but I'm sure Brock Lesnar's first match back was the one where he. Do you remember when he like tried to do a clothesline or something like that over the top rope, and he somehow threw himself entirely out of the ring?
Yeah, I
And that
remember
was
that.
like,
But I know for a fact the return was the Raw after WrestleMania in Miami, and that's where it set off that Brock was going to fight Cena, because he did the same exact thing he did at the end of SummerSlam Night too. Just come in F5 out of nowhere.
there you go, leading to a match with John Cena at Extreme Rules 2012. Yes, I
Oh,
remember it very
thank
well,
you.
that one. Then it goes to SummerSlam. Right, okay. There was 7 minutes left in the show when I checked, and I was like, how can there be 7 minutes left in the show? There's got to be something that happens. We're going to talk about Cody and Cena later on. Brock Lesnar turns up, cowboy hat and
Mm-hmm.
hair and all that kind of thing, gets a big reaction from the crowd, which he's going to get. He's not been seen in 2 years, regardless of allegations made, which I will briefly mention, and then makes a statement, leaves. So that's 2 nights of SummerSlam, both with a surprise thing happening at the end as
Yeah.
well. But for people who don't know why it's so controversial, Brock Lesnar's return is
Oh my God, it is not controversial. It is not. I across the board, we got to get this thinking out of our minds that oh, it's controversial, it's controversial, it's controversial. It's not. It's really not. It's people on the internet that want to be super super loud when, they don't do anything. They want to talk the loudest. So the people that talk the loudest tend to make it seem as if it's controversial and it's not. We went over this a little bit earlier. Basically, like, again, Brock Lesnar didn't do anything. He got mentioned in 2025 in an amended lawsuit. We got to keep that in mind. That is important. She decided to throw his name in there in 2025, February 2025. We know this because Kev decided to talk about it. Hi, Vortex. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. Um, but it's not controversial at all. If Brock Lesnar would have done something horrendous where it would have led to being illegal, then yeah, we could say it's controversial, but it's not. It really isn't.
Is that he was implicated? Not he's not part of the suits, by the way, but he was implicated and mentioned quite a few times into some dodgy behavior, shall we say? Is that Vince McMahon?
Yes, I have already discussed it. If you post your side, I will read it all.
And in I don't know if this is around 2020 or something like that. I don't have the suit in front of me.
It's
That Janelle
2021.
Grant was apparently offered up to Brock Lesnar as a bargaining chip to get Brock to re-sign with WWE because UFC and WWE were supposedly in a bidding war at the time. This is before TKO.
That sounds really stupid for Vince to do. I'm just saying. That sounds really stupid. It could be a fantasy that she may have wanted it. Like, that sounds more like a fantasy that a girl would say that they wanted something like that. And if you guys are ever going to go against me for me saying that, just look at all of the spicy book talk women writers that really write some really huge ass fantasy sex scenes and, still try to tell me I'm wrong. Us women are visual creatures and we have a really huge appetite for fantasy that may or may not make sense, and really weird ass kinks that we have seen over the years that have popped up in commentary, in pop culture, in everyday life, in the mainstream media. So like women could get freaky. So it could be like a fantasy. But it just sounds really weird that somebody would want to do that as a bargaining chip. Why? Like, if you really understand how men think, not all men are thinking in like sex. Not all men. There are some that will think like sex only, but not all men are thinking about sex. And in order to like get your best friend in a way, because like Vince helped Brock Lesnar in so many different like facets and whatnot. But to really tell your best friend like, yo, you can hit it too. I just need you to sign this. Like, are we in agreement? Like, you can hit it too. Just sign this contract. That sounds so weird. No, like that sounds so weird. Obviously, I tend to think more logical when I want to think more logical, but like I don't see two guy friends doing that unless they were like true assholes and they do it on a consistent basis. Do something like that to pass a girl around as a bargaining chip. There are people like that, but like college students do that shit. If you're like well over college age, you might, but then it'd be like, what the fuck is the point? Just sign the contract.
Amalgamated both companies. And the idea was is that Brock Lesnar requested videos and photos. She complied, or Vince McMahon made her comply, depends on who you believe in that. And then apparently she was offered up as a bargaining chip, which Brock Lesnar did not consummate, according to the civil suits, because he was too drunk. So, once again,
Because he was too drunk. If you are drunk, you don't know what you're doing, and sometimes you might say yes to something. Oh my god. See, all the plot holes, all the stupid shit. But no, activists online will want you to side with the woman, and it's like there's a lot of holes in that. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make any sense. Why would Lesnar want to request videos and photos of Janelle Grant when he is happily married, and every time that he is not wrestling, he goes off the grid? Why would a man who goes off the grid want pictures and photos of some chick that he does not know? Why would that be a thing? If you're gonna go and live off the grid and not be around human contact and like be with your wife, be on your farm, why would you still want to request videos and photos from a woman you don't know anything about? I need somebody who is an activist in the IWC to give me an answer. but I'm gonna be waiting on crickets. Let me just pass this
Nothing,
through.
I guess, illegal happened from Brock Lesnar's point of view, but it's still a really bad look, and he was being off TV for.
It's not a bad look. This is the kind of mindset that I hate sometimes. It's not a bad look. What makes it a bad look? If he was found guilty, and if there was a report that came out that said that he too had to come in to testify, or that, you know, a report that said Brock Lesnar had to lawyer up, then it could be a bad look. But if none of those reports ever came out, it is not a bad look.
18 months. Sorry, he's been off. He was taken off the Royal Rumble and then paid to sit at home for 18 months over that.
A very confusing, fluid situation. I mean, this is something that may go to arbitration. You, in the show notes, had kind of guessed that this is a hint that is going to go to arbitration and not be accelerated into the higher category of any kind of criminal and civil type things. Because we are looking at, because she did go across state lines to certain shows and everything, we're looking at sex trafficking with what could be charged with Vince. Now, obviously,
No.
that has not happened yet. I don't know how slow the wheels of justice need to turn, but it
Okay.
looks like with Brock returning, it would be an educated guess that this is on the back end or the back nine, as you would say in golf, and kind of going to go away. Or, as you put after in the next paragraph, TKO doesn't care. Who cares, right? And apparently the fans didn't remember nor care because he got a huge babyface reaction to come back, unless they're caught up with the moment, because there's very much a Pavlovian response. Hear the music, you're going to react. No matter all the other stuff kind of gets wiped away, kind of like the mind eraser from Men in Black. Maybe they have one of those things in the box truss.
Okay, I'm gonna stop there because I am gonna read G Coalition's side, right? But I wanted to just really point out, like, as much as I enjoy listening to Stevie Richards, because I learn a lot whenever he does breakdown videos similar to what I do, but see, when he said that now we get into a territory where she's crossing state lines because she's traveling with Vince. First of all, this whole entire situation of Janelle Grant and Vince McMahon happened in what, 2020, right? Because it's a fairly like new lawsuit. I don't remember if it said anything before that, but even if it did say anything before that, she's still traveling under the WWE banner, but she never said anything about like if anything happened in a different state, because if something happened in a different state, then there'll be different jurisdictions and laws, and that will come into play, and that probably would have pushed the lawsuit into an area where we probably could have gotten a result by now, maybe, right? But I don't think it's right to say that because she crossed state lines, there goes your idea of it being sex traffic. She was still under the WWE banner, under Vince McMahon, and, you know, with Vince McMahon via contract. She had a contract with Vince. So she had to go where WWE goes if she was needed, if Vince was needed. But that lawsuit made it seem as if like everything was under, you know, one state in Connecticut, all this shit happening and in 2020 and whatnot, and then like she no longer got paid, got released from her contract, and now she wants money. She doesn't even want like justice. I said it earlier that like if you are a victim of true horrendous shit, you go after, you know, getting justice. It's not about getting the bag, it's about getting justice, so that way this doesn't happen to anybody else. You keep the streets a little bit safer, you know, one bad man or one bad woman at a time. But that's really like a stretch to say that she had to go from state to state to state as a and that's like sex trafficking. That's a stretch. Um, other than that, um, you know, other than that, it's like you got to think like a guy. You can't think like a woman here. You got to think like a guy. And the only reason why I say you can't think like a woman is because we make up all sorts of stuff in our mind. Okay. And you guys, like, if anyone ever says that I'm like anti-woman, I am not anti-woman. I'm just fed up with that women can have their cake and eat it too. I'm tired of the stigma that women get, but also the feminist side that women get of like, you don't need a man. You could do whatever you want. You could be the best boss babe. Oh my God, you got violated. Oh, you can't tell anybody because then you're going to get a label. You might be a slut. You might be a whore. You're going to be damaged goods. And then on the flip side of like, oh, you got to tell somebody. You should definitely tell somebody. We get all mixed reactions, all mixed signals. And then we use that to either be manipulative or not manipulative. But I'm just tired of like, why can nobody be honest with women? Why can nobody be honest with men? Why can we not have positive conversations about sex, about, accusing people, about allegations? Why is everything in the media and everything on social media so quick to blow up without knowing the full story? Can we train society to not always pick a side? Can we train society to not always comment on things? Can we train society to sort of uplift each other and be there for each other and not just say this person did this without any evidence? You know what I mean? Like I said a whole thing about this earlier and whatnot, but it just bothers me. And no, I'm not anti-woman. I'm not anti-man. I just want human beings to coexist. I want human beings to live in reality. And, life is hard. Life is always going to be hard. It's going to be tough. But, when you have a wonderful friends and family and a community that you want to share some stuff with, or that you want to have discussions with, it shouldn't end in either disowning people. It shouldn't end in breaking off friendships unless like you're really truly like not compatible. It shouldn't end with like bad relationships, stuff like that. There should be some type of nuances, some type of good conversations to grow as really great people, rather than being like, oh, let's just take the women's side just because, or let's just take the men's side just because. And there's no middle ground to be like, wait, I don't know the full story. Oh, how long has this lawsuit been going on? Yeah, there's something fishy about that. This lawsuit, like I said earlier, has been going on for quite a while now, and there has been no resolution. No resolution. So I am very, very skeptical about it, just because of it has been going on for a good while. So let me go back and read G Coalition stuff. One, even the story the lady gave about Brock's involvement doesn't include any part where she was obviously unwilling and he knew it, not where anything directly physical took place between the two. In fact, the story goes that he canceled the rendezvous because of bad weather and never went back to it. Again, like I said, Brock Lesnar has, he doesn't like to be around people as much. So when he doesn't want to deal with people and he gets like super, I guess anxiety, but I don't know. I don't want to speak for him, but I know that whenever he doesn't want to be around people as much, he goes off the grid. We know this about him. 1.5, I'ma back you up about women by just saying two titles. 50 Shades of Grey and Twilight. That's exactly right, bro. 50 Shades of Grey and Twilight. Every single woman wanted to live out the fantasies of 50 Shades of Grey, and that was all BDSM and dominatrix and being spanked and whipped, and like women wanted that fantasy. So we make up a lot of fantasies. And Twilight, people wanted that fantasy too. People still want fantasies of vampires and werewolves. Just saying. G Coalition continues to say, the outrage farm literally didn't wait for any updates about his possible innocence. They just signed a predator. No women are safe. Oh, he must have been cleared. Nope, they just don't care. Oh my God, there's someone really on Twitter said that they just signed a predator. No women are safe. This is that fucking stupid ass feminist shit that, like, while yes, there are predators and those predators need to be off the streets. Those predators, you have to take them into court to get justice, not just money. But this is where, people online can say whatever they want and there's no consequences. Brock Lesnar probably stays to himself. If Brock Lesnar has a bad history of doing something, it would have already gotten out, but it has not gotten out. Like, this is why people on Twitter just need to stop. Meanwhile, less than 24 hours later, WWE Legal says he was cleared a month ago. Yes, you could say that's internal, but A, it took 2 years. B, the same TKO WWE couldn't wait to get rid of McMahon. That's true. I'm gonna agree with the second part. The first part, maybe they already had him cleared. But by the way, if Voldemort over here reported that, I wouldn't believe them. Nobody from legal is talking to Voldemort and his crew. 3, I'm waiting for the women who are gonna quit WWE. Wait 3 months, go to AEW, say live on air that he's guilty, and WWE hires predators, and he's how they know become biggest story in wrestling overnight and not have any concern about getting sued by WWE. Oh, got it. Okay, I was a little confused by your wording, but I got it. Yeah, dude, that's not gonna happen. You're not gonna leave the WWE paycheck to go to AEW and not do anything and sit at home and sit on your couch. But there's probably not gonna happen. They released like 15 to 20 women over the past year, and I don't even see any of them doing that. They're not doing that. It's just that people in IWC who are like 17 years old to 25-year-old who live in a blue state, who got brainwashed, think like, they are completely right when they're not. They have no world experience, and they still want to tell people that this man is bad, that man is bad, because they get brainwashed so bad, and they don't want to listen to nobody else. They want to keep talking and like running their mouth and calling this person the R word, which is not retarded. It's the other R word. I don't know if I could say it on YouTube and or Rumble. I know I could probably say it on Rumble. I just can't say it on YouTube. But they want to call him that. They want to call him a sex offender when he's not even on the list. You can't find him anywhere. He got name dropped in the lawsuit, but oh my God, it's a big deal. It's not as controversial as you think it is. It really isn't. He got name dropped. Your friends get name dropped whenever like some woman is talking about a bad, night of like a bad one night stand. Your friends get name dropped. Like, it's the same fucking shit. Because evidence is king, and WWE took enough time that I don't believe there is evidence for anybody to run with. There really isn't. So before you got here, G Coalition, I was saying that in order to push this lawsuit further and a little bit faster, instead of having, well, the text messages can be evidence of like Vince texting her back and like all the wild shit that this happened, but I also said that text messages can be framed. Text messages could be made up. If all the shit that she said in that lawsuit happened to her, she should have went to the doctors immediately, like an actual doctor, like go into like the emergency room and be like, hey, this happened to me. I need you guys to run all these tests on me, and I need the evidence because I want to put somebody away. None of that evidence, none of that stuff has been submitted. So, you know, again, it's not controversial. There's a lot of holes in it, and we're just looking at this from a logical point of view. If you don't like it that way, that's okay too. You know, not I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear and have a conversation about, like, hey, this is how it looks, this is how we're breaking it down. But I'm not here to be like, this is what you want to hear. I'm not like that.
On all four sides going.
They would. Well, I mean, they've got power to those posts.
Yeah.
You know,
And by
they
the way,
might as well
this is not the same exact crowd, but this is the same WWE crowd that when Vince came out during the height of all this stuff, they're holding their female daughters up, their little children, offering them up. So,
Stevie,
listen, you go there, you want to watch wrestling, you want to have a good time, you want to ignore all the other stuff. That's cool, but there's still another side of the PR of TKO, WWE, and also my guess, once again, an educated guess, absolutely nobody asked these questions of Triple H in the post-show media scrum. We didn't even need to watch it to say that didn't happen.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Because did you know that there wasn't a press scrum for SummerSlam Nights 1 or 2?
Really?
Isn't that amazing
which is a good thing.
coincidence? That Brock Lesnar's returning, and then all of a sudden they don't have a press scrum. Here's the thing, right? So I think WWE may have brought these press scrums back because AEW were doing them at the time. And then at the beginning, WWE were
One could make the argument for that. I will give him that. One could make the argument for that.
inviting questions in, some of the more difficult ones as well, mostly answering them horribly. And then, sometimes banning or pretending not to ban, but, we don't have enough room for certain journalists who actually would ask difficult questions. And then it just devolved into a farce where they only want the stupidest questions by the biggest marks possible. So at that point, because, they want to invite legitimate media and whatever, but they want it on their terms. And that's not what a press conference is all about. So at this point, with Brock Lesnar coming back, I figure Triple H or whoever was in charge just went, you know what, we really don't need to do these things, because all we would have to do is field questions about Brock Lesnar's part or intended part in the Janelle Grant lawsuits. That's all we'll get, so why do them? What they did do is have, is he Pete Rosenberg? Whatever that DJ guy who's a total mark for WWE.
Probably
Yeah,
it's Peter Rosenberg.
Right,
Right,
this is
whatever
the post show kind of out there in the stadium, correct?
Yeah, he's one of the WWE bumlickers. Anyway, he was hosting a post-show thing, at the same table, basically, that they do the pre-show. And Triple H at that point said, and I wrote it down vaguely enough, it was incredible to have Brock back, which, once again, it just exposes the fact that this is why they don't have press conferences anymore, because they can't control the narrative, whereas they can in the post-show.
Well, because they can't answer when someone asks a legitimate question. Enjoy the show. That was the last halfway tough question that dude got. And he's like, enjoy the show. Like, what?
Right, should we talk about WWE and more specifically?
This is the mindset that I sort of hate, because wow, a press conference, a post-show press conference, can be very viable if you're not paying attention to what's currently happening in current events. Everybody, including the mainstream media, wants the clicks, wants the clout, and wants to twist words any chance they get. So even if Triple H gives an answer, whether it is right, whether it is wrong, someone is going to misquote it. Someone is going to take the context out of it. And how long have we seen this happen? To the point of where wrestlers, female wrestlers and male wrestlers, have come out in the open on Twitter and basically blast the dirt sheets for getting their quotes wrong and making them look bad. Therefore, everybody is going to be reacting in a negative way, to be like, that wrestler was never good anyway. I don't know why that wrestler is talking like that. They don't know what they're talking about. Like, there is a pattern here, but there's also a stupid ass mindset that comes when you think that you are mightier and holier and a know-it-all than everybody else. I, for one, think that there is a time and there is a place for asking these questions that are legitimate questions. But in this day and age where you have people that end up trying to do gotcha headlines, and you know that society only reads the headlines and they run off and they create wildfire, that does not look good for nobody involved, except for the dirt sheets that put it out, that collect the pennies on the dollar for the AdSense revenue, and that's about it. And maybe for like the $5 Patreon memberships that they will get. This is what I fucking hate. And it gets me upset because it's like, there is no pushback. There is no third person to be like, hey, we shouldn't be thinking about it like this. We should be thinking about it like this perspective, because we've seen where this goes. And by the way, Triple H has all the right to tell people to enjoy the show. And we need to stop, well, maybe put on the back burner about being a wrestling journalist, because we created that. Nobody has any type of integrity when it comes to journalism. And again, I don't want to bring modern politics into this, but it proves that every time the White House has a press conference and you have Caroline there, Caroline puts all of the people in their place. And by the way, Triple H has all the right to revoke access to people that are not going to, you know, ask a question about the show, ask a question about the fans, ask a question about the ring crew and everybody that puts together a show that you're watching and that they're paying for. Even though, like, when you become press and you get credentials, you get a free ticket. We all know that. So be thankful that you could get a free ticket. Now, I'm not saying that don't ever ask about, you know, personal questions like that, or like, I guess, no, don't ask personal questions. But if you want to try to ask a legit question, don't do it when there's an ongoing case. You know, once the case is done, which I don't even know how long that would take, you could probably be like a retrospective kind of question to the case of like, hey, now that the lawsuit is, you know, it's over and there's a decision, you know, what are your thoughts about it now? You know, do you feel any different? Do you think that, you know, you should have had Brock Lesnar come back? Like, you ask after the fact. You cannot ask any legal questions while there is an ongoing lawsuit that has been happening for the past 2 years with no resolution at all. We get an amendment which should make you think about it a little bit more, should make you get like red flags when you're thinking about it. But, you know, WWE could do whatever they want with these press conferences. Nobody over at AEW is asking about the Jon Moxley and AEW case about pushing the guy down to the ground, and no one's asking AEW about the other case, the other civil case with includes the boys from Dalton Castle's, you know, two guys and Kevin Kelly. Like, no one's asking about that case at all. So, you know, let's stop doing this. You know, WWE bad, WWE are cowards, this doesn't look right, you know, let's all blame WWE. Like, no, this one is 50-50. I just don't like that mindset of like, you know, it's a coincidence. You know, they didn't want to do it because they can't control the narrative. Listen, until there is evidence against Lesnar, Lesnar could be there, Brock could be there. But since there is no evidence against him, nothing submitted into the lawsuit like that, then he could be back at WWE. Simple as that. You may not like it, but in terms of like law and thinking about it and thinking about how things go, you got to take that into consideration. G Coalition over here says, 4, guess who this dude has at home? Sable. Sable would definitely be like, Brock, what are you doing? Why do you have a random woman's picture in your phone or these videos? Like, what are you doing? You know, it's just really, really annoying to have this high and mighty, you know, bravado kind of deal going on. And it's like, WWE can do whatever they want. WWE can stop the press conferences as well as bring it back.
Specifically TKO. I mean, they're just over the last few years, they've been such a scummy company between UFC and WWE with the Vince thing, with the Brock Lesnar thing that they're bringing back. And once again, with the Brock Lesnar thing, that isn't, he's not Vince in this. He didn't actually do anything.
We don't know if Vince did so either. Just because we have text messages. And like I said, if there is no evidence from a hospital test kit, unlike everything that she said that happened, we don't know if Vince did this shit. Text messages are one thing. Like, I hate this notion of like, you gotta believe the woman no matter what. Like, it's weird. I've always been taught like to back up your claims and to basically save your ass. You basically document every single thing that has happened. So that way you have the evidence, you have the receipts, and when they go through it, you know, there's no holes in your story. But let's keep going. I just want to hear the,
Apart from, Neil trying to cheat on his wife, allegedly, in this lawsuit, or that's what he's accused of. And we don't know, if Janelle was complicit in this or not. Once again, it's a very muddy situation. But on the UFC side, we've got Conor McGregor. He just lost an appeal for sexual assault case against a girl in Ireland, and all his brand deals have been cancelled. Yet he's just been re-entered into the UFC testing pool, and he never got punished for all these infractions. John Jones eventually got stripped of the UFC heavyweight title, but that only became apparent when he wasn't going to defend it after 2 years. And, in that intervening 2 years, and even beforehand, there were tons of failed drug tests and beating up his girlfriend that he's been arrested for, and so many other things as well. There's a UFC fighter, Bryce Mitchell. He was defending Hitler on a podcast and didn't get fired. And then there's another UFC fighter. I've never even heard of this guy, Cedriques Dumois, or however you pronounce it. He was charged April 30th with a home invasion, robbery, battery, possession.
Also, no one's asking about Chris Charlton. I was, but Chris Charlton came back as if it was nothing. Paul Walker, wrong guy. I'm so sorry. Walker, is a tool. So, it is what it is. And by the way, that's not me being bitter or jealous or anything like that. That's just like how I see it, how I call it. Just saying. Didn't want to speak up for Chris. Chris wrongfully getting suspended, which is so out of character for New Japan to do unless Tony Khan has something to do with it. But, I already said my piece about it.
Possession of a weapon or ammo by a convicted felon and drug possession, and he is still just been booked for a fight on September 13th as well. And how can we forget Dana White smacking his wife as well? Now, in fairness to Dana, his wife had hit him multiple times first, but then it was only the thing that got leaked was Dana smacking his wife, and he didn't even get a slap on the wrist for that as well. In all seriousness,
Dana White found after Dana White investigated Dana White that Dana White did not do anything wrong, right? By the way, this is an upcoming roster for upcoming WWE TVs and pay-per-views. You're going to see all these people eventually do something with WWE, so the TKO can keep on brand, as James would say.
In all seriousness, when there's
what does all that other stuff have to do with this? Just to remind people that shit happens. Shit happens. If the justice system takes care of it, they take care of it. If they don't, they don't. We should not throw judgment on them in a way, like we shouldn't. To talk about it, to bring awareness, yeah, I do believe in that. But like to automatically be like they were wrong when you weren't there, and you don't know any deeper evidence, it's kind of wrong to take sides. But if we're doing this as like an educational conversation and a nuanced conversation and a like, hey, this is what not to do. Let's bring awareness to this and let's actually bring some type of solution. I'll be for it to mention that, but yeah, you know.
Vince McMahon returned to WWE. And I'm not saying a creative, I'm saying he's still got some stock in the company. Do you think he's ever going to come back as a TV character? I mean,
No.
if they sort out this NDA, the Janelle Grant situation, if he pays her off or civil court or however it finishes, when it's finished, does Vince McMahon return?
No.
Well, I thought the best opportunity, and I think we talked about this during the Hulk Hogan episode. I believe we definitely did. That would have been a little bit of a toe in the water, dipping the toe in the water for Vince and WWE and TKO if Vince had voiced over the tribute for Hulk Hogan.
Oh.
That would have been an easy way to gauge the reaction to see if the outrage, real or fake or somewhere in between, would have been very pronounced. But if you put this guy right back on TV like the day after it settled, or like we're looking at right now, you're like, well, Brock's not Vince, but this is an example of they just don't care. And that's fine. That's their choice. I don't think stockholders are going to ask what's going on with the Brock Lesnar thing. Once again, like you said, he's not implicated on the level or at all like Vince is. And we still have at least a dozen or more NDAs that could come out on Vince after this first one. It could very much be, as I say all the time.
What other NDAs? Like, are you talking about like the Ring Boys situation that like didn't get very far? Like,
A Deshaun Watson type thing where this one settled, then we have these other 10 or 12 or 18 or 19 to go.
they all would have dropped around the same time because they would have been like, oh, if Janelle Grant could do it, I could do it too. Like, okay, guys.
Logan Paul as well, I forgot, with all his alleged crypto grifts over the years as well, and they completely gloss over that in WWE and promote him as one of the biggest stars there as well. I mean, ultimately, I think this has been the case the last few years. We're just in a post-consequences world. You can do basically whatever you like, and if you're rich and or famous enough, doesn't matter.
That has been going on ever since Hollywood was created. Ever since Hollywood was created, that has been going on. Ever since we entered into the era of like really rich people, even though that sounds kind of weird to say it that way, but yeah, it's been going on. It's not really post. It's been going on. Now it's just more on a grander scale because everybody wants to be an activist and everyone is like, oh, I looked up police records. So, you know, this person did this person did that. There's a lot more access to it. And the internet is way more vast than anything else. It's just more in our face. That's why it feels like everything is out in the open and everybody has these like skeletons in their closet. But again, the IWC and even in all fandoms across the entertainment world will act like they are angels. But yeah, it's not post, man. And the thing with Logan Paul, I don't even know if there's an update on any of those like lawsuits about crypto and whatnot because they haven't said anything. And I don't even know, man. But it's crypto. Does anyone really care about crypto unless like, you know, you end up putting your money in crypto and stuff like that? But it is wrong that people lost money, but in reality of when crypto started, they would have to go after everybody else that got scammed. You know, not just Logan Paul and the Zoo Crypto that, you know, Logan Paul thought like that would have been a good idea, but you know.
Yeah, we're on the borderline of oligarchy with all that stuff within the wrestling.
Are you serious? Really? You had to use a buzzword? Did you really have to use a buzzword?
In the entertainment world where it's just like, whatever it is, they must be better people than us. After all, I just laugh because it's like, is wrestling now getting back to actually featuring and pushing and shoving down people's throats absolute menaces to society, because that's the way it's actually come full circle. Because back in the 80s and the 90s, every wrestler was an absolute menace in society and needed to, for some reason it went there, and now it's coming back to kind of pushing the envelope more outside the ring than inside the ring.
Not to bring this back to Hulk Hogan as well, but all these people who, not that Hogan hadn't dragged his own name through the mud, but the guy died obviously a couple of weeks ago. I just get a sense that because Hulk Hogan said some words, more people will still be upset with him than they would be Vince McMahon. Do you know what I mean?
That's because it's performative. That's because, my God, dude. This is why if you don't live in America and you don't live somewhere in the ghetto and, be around African Americans, Black people, if you're not around the culture, you're not going to understand why and how they will still beat up Hulk Hogan's name when there are still more big pressing matters in their own community that they don't want to take accountability for. This is why sometimes it's if you don't live in the United States, don't talk about things in the United States that you don't understand. Some people want to be victims. Some people want to keep the brainwashing going. And some people want to believe that this word should still have power over them. And they wait for a white guy to fall. And they are very vocal about it. And the more times that you end up retweeting them, putting them on the timeline, making videos on TikTok and stuff like that, the more times that you do that, you are amplifying a very small group of people that just want to be angry at it. A way to fix this is that, nobody should say the N-word across the board, even in music, even in propaganda, even in news or whatever. Nobody should say the N-word. Because it has a very horrible, toxic ass history to it. It is very bad. But that's not gonna happen. There are other things that the community should be doing by cleaning up their community, by not having drug dealers on the corners and have kids see what happened. All this kind of stuff, man. I just don't. Man. Luckily, we have a couple more minutes.
Yeah, it's weird too, because you could say, well, one person's at one level, one person's at another, but Hogan and Vince are at the same exact level, and almost with the same amount of controversy in different ways. But it's so weird how there's certain people that will always be, because people say, well, Vince gave me my childhood with Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage. He was the facilitator of my childhood memories and all the other stuff, and also he well, not now, maybe, allegedly, who the hell knows, but he's creating my entertainment, so I can let all those things pass. Hulk Hogan, you're old and washed up. Vince still has some use for the fans. That's the way I look at it. He hasn't outlived his usefulness. When Hogan couldn't deliver that, and obviously Hogan didn't help his own cause, as you said. But yeah, it's a strange thing how Hunter, Vince, the McMahons can pass all this scrutiny and still be beloved.
By the way, there's another WWE story the IWC has been running with, despite the evidence of the contract. How much time do you think you've got after Stevie's done here? It's 15 minutes, so a little bit more. When this ends, just put it in chat, bro. I'll read it.
But Hogan now, even in posthumously after his death, there's people still outwardly saying we're happy this guy's dead.
Which should not happen at all. Because again, so sad. They're so brainwashed. They really are. So just put the new WWE story the IWC has been running with. Let me hear it, bro, because I have not been on Twitter, and I'm just not gonna be on Twitter for a bit. If you guys are enjoying the video, make sure to hit that like button. If you disagree with me on anything, let me know. Um, let me know if you guys disagree with me on anything. After G Coalition tells me the news story, I'm gonna wrap things up because I'm starting to get hungry and I need to cook dinner. Um, and if you're over on the Rumble side of things, make sure to hit that follow button and also like button, I guess. Leave a comment as well. I'm trying to grow my Rumble. I will be back on Rumble. I don't know when, but I do want to see episode 2 of WWE Unreal with you guys, and that will be the place to go. Will be Rumble. It will be there. So yeah, whenever G Coalition wants to drop another WWE story that IWC has been running with, because it is probably wild and hectic over on Twitter for like no reason. That's been weird. I uh I was wondering why it was like frozen. Um I really thought they were gonna talk about the match and not like really Brock Lesnar himself, because I'm like, what the fuck, man? Um what the fuck? That mindset got to go, man. You got to get some like new perspective, talk to new people, come out here for like a week and like see what happens and whatnot. Like there's a difference between like there is a difference between what people experience in different states and whatnot. You know, like people think they have um they have the knowledge and they don't. Just because you watch the news doesn't mean like that shit actually happens on a daily basis. Like they want you to believe and whatnot. I just think that I just think that we should be looking at life a little bit differently. And yeah, you know, most people are gonna bypass all that stuff because again, if it doesn't like concern you, if your name is not in it, why should you spend energy on it? You know. Oh, that um I saw some stuff about that. I don't know what you have, but I guess you could tell me. Um yeah, if you wanna tell me about it quickly. I know that that somebody took her song and I guess put it together and whatnot. Ellie Price is the artist who submitted the sample pack to a site called Splice. I think that WWE ended up copying for the lyrical flow of Fatal Influence's NXT theme song. Which, by the way, if they did, right, um, most of those sites you can be like, hey, I'm gonna upload this, but they'll have to pay for it. Like I know sites of where other musicians who do like GTA role playing will pay for samples and music and whatnot, and they'll pay for it. They'll pay for it on the stream. Well, for to stream. But you know, the IWC is not smart like they claim they are. She recently did a short video about it, and in the video, she states that she assumes WWE put her voice through an AI program and just modified the lyrics in order to get the song how they wanted it. If they paid for the sample and did that, WWE has all the right to do it. They paid for it, so now they can manipulate it to how they want it to be. And yeah, if you guys are liking the stream, make sure to hit that like button and share it out. I don't know if I'm gonna put like the full like 3 hours on Spotify. So you guys might get a very, very special just live stream. Um I might have to like redo um the stream. I do need to make like some standalone podcast episodes. Because I feel bad that I haven't uploaded some in a very, very long time. Um The problem is, in the same video, she includes screenshots of text from an article that backs up her assertion about how fans have been noticing how Def Rebel's work feels unoriginal or uninspired. That doesn't prove anything. We all know that like Def Rebel over here like cuts corners or make some type of music that sounds really weird, or it's just like, did you guys really play that like in studio? But yeah, like that doesn't mean anything. But you know, little girls who are very, very young tend to do this. I don't know how old Ellie is, but you know, when you don't know things, you tend to do that to be like, look, you know, try to prove a point when it doesn't prove anything. We know that Def Rebel doesn't make like really good music sometimes. And like I said, as long as WWE has purchased the sample, they could do whatever they want with it. Now, if WWE didn't purchase the sample, then that's a big no-no. But if they purchase it, they could do whatever they want. Problem is, the screenshot comes from, despite being kind of a hit piece on Def Rebel, actually has the name of the real in-house singer that copied Price's flow and sang the theme song. That's totally fine too. That is acceptable. Sometimes you might just have to put somebody else over the vocals. But like I said, if the sample was purchased, they can do what they want with it. It is sometimes fucked up in the music business, but it is what it is. People forget they still have Steve Stone and Jay Frost. Are those the name of the guys that are on Def Rebel? I'm guessing they are the name of the guys. No, so I have no idea who they are. I have no idea who they are. They do music for WWE time to oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool. Um Jay Frost made Javon's theme song and accusing every future Death Rebel theme of being AI with no evidence. Of course, man, they're so against AI. And I don't like AI either, but like that's them being a parrot of like just saying the same thing over and over, no evidence. I would just basically ignore them. I would ignore them, man. And they keep being like, oh, everything is going to be AI, AI, AI. And it's like, probably or probably not. You never know. But everyone is so scared that they rather instill the fear and have you subconsciously go along with them. Like that's their way of getting them on your side. Um, in a couple years now, because they already planted it in your subconscious. Def Rebel has some good theme songs. Yeah, I mean, I probably still have some on my playlist. But there are some theme songs that are like, you know. I guess. I mean, I like certain Def Rebel songs. I didn't know that Jay Frost did Jason Jordan's theme song. Like I'm not gonna remember that part. I really don't remember his theme song. But if that is all, G Coalition, I am going to wrap up. Um, because I need to go eat. Unless somebody wants to buy me food. Um does it work? It doesn't work. Or is it food? No? I hate this. Oh, there goes the treat stream. I have not watched New Japan in the past month. Um, they are currently doing the G1 right now. I make my comments on Twitter whenever Blood Money ends up tagging me, but since I haven't been on Twitter, I don't really know what's happening. I do know that Gabe Kidd is out with a knee injury, so he had to forfeit his G1 go. Um Kanosuke is in there too. I don't know how far along he got. Um CV Stone and Jay Frost are two of the rappers that would call for themes sometime. Oh, okay. Um Tanahashi is doing whatever he wants. Um he's looking for like his 100 opponent. Um, there are a lot of fans watching Stardom. I guess. Um, I guess, man. Um, but yeah. So I haven't watched New Japan. Plus, anyway, my budget is completely tight, so I can't really like support any of the wrestling places that I want to support. So I just haven't watched New Japan. Until listen, I still want New Japan to break away from AEW. There's still time to do so. I still want that. But it doesn't seem like they want to listen to get better. They want to keep everything in house. They want to listen to other people, and they want to continue to do what they do. Which is like, all right, let's see how this goes, man. I'll still wait. I'll still wait on it. I'll still love New Japan from afar because I swear, man, you don't ignore people that have outside the box thinking and will push back and not be a tool. Jay Frost has done work on both CFO and Def Rebel WWE tracks. Stevie Stone was brought in during the Def Rebel era. Yeah. Okay, cool. I think New Japan and AEW is kind of like a WWE TNA type thing. It is. It is not. AEW basically destroyed New Japan Pro Wrestling and took all their top stars without letting New Japan Pro Wrestling make new stars and push new stars into those positions. AEW was like, nah, I'm taking everybody. I'm going to flash the checkbook. And then, it's not the same thing. WWE and TNA have a more healthier partnership than New Japan and AEW. Like, it's very, very evident. Yeah, okay, because I need to cook unless like somebody wants to buy me food. If we're gonna continue to chat. But yeah. All right. So, with that being said, thank you guys for joining me on this live stream on both Rumble and YouTube. I just sometimes feel very passionate about putting my 2 cents in when the IWC crashes out, even though I really don't want to pay them any mind, because you can't tell them anything. You can't educate them on anything. And I don't like using that phrase I really don't like using that phrase because it's like talking down to people. But just to give a different perspective on like, Brock Lesnar returning is not a big deal. Brock Lesnar returning is not the gross thing that you ever saw or the yikes or anything like that. Just know that I have not been on Twitter since like Thursday, so I don't know when I'm going to be back. It's totally okay. Taking a break. Make sure to basically take care of yourself. Self-care is important. I will be building up Rumble. I will be building up my Instagram. I will be building up the other Discord that I have, the chat community, even though like I didn't post it in chat. But if you're in my regular one, I'll do it anyway. Yeah. What else is there? I do want to start working on other things other than wrestling. I have gotten the bug back to start writing my novel again. Just things, man, because Twitter can take up a lot of my time. I do not like clowning on people. I do not like bringing negative awareness from like the IWC to what we talk about, because it's not about, keep clowning on them, keep dunking on them if they have stupid views, or if they like just talk out their ass. They're gonna talk out their ass regardless. Like, even if I bring it to everyone's attention without a resolution, without a solution, then what are we doing? We're not elevating nobody here. My whole thing is about elevating people and watching professional wrestling matches and being good for the industry. The IWC meltdowns are not good for the industry, but then again, when you have an internet that is so vastly open, anybody could be anything. Anybody could say whatever they want. They don't get in trouble. And for like the past couple of days, I've been feeling very, very down because, again, I don't come on live stream to be like, let's look at everything that the IWC is talking about. Let's go through the headaches. I don't want to do that. I want to have fun. I want to have very thoughtful discussions on professional wrestling, on WWE documentaries, on stuff we just watched and whatnot. And sometimes I don't think that's taken as serious, or taken as like, hey, this is way more interesting to learn about. And even if people want to like push back in the comments, like, you could push back, but just don't be an asshole. That's all I say. Because sometimes you want to challenge someone else's perspective. That's okay. Don't be an asshole though. Because we all learn from each other through conversation. We all learn from each other through like communicating that way. But again, I do not like to be like, oh my God, look at this idiot for what they said on the tweet. Even though you might think like I did that earlier with the two examples of a newsletter and other news source, but it's just to be like, this is totally wrong. To just talk out your ass when you don't know anything and you speak like you do know something. It's to bring awareness to that. It's not necessarily being like, guys, you know, go do whatever, because I would not tell you guys to go do that. Yeah, so I'm gonna be building elsewhere. So if you guys want to follow the Rumble and watch episode 2 with me about WWE Unreal, or anything that you guys want to suggest a match that I watch and I go over, it will be over there. YouTube definitely has a stranglehold on my videos, especially when I want to do a educational breakdown video on stuff. You know, it's very difficult for wrestling and whatnot, but I also want to do other things and have a cool community and whatnot. Just to reiterate, I do have merchandise on my fourth wall. Fourth wall is similar to Patreon, just a little bit more better for my vision and my creativity. So there is merchandise, all original merchandise. There are memberships to get. There's also a membership to get here too on youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast /join. Over on the Rumble side of things, you could send over, you know, like a Rumble rant, and gifted subs. You can also like go wherever I have, you know, links to support the stream and support the brand. Because I do a lot of this stuff for free. I don't even put this behind a paywall. Which I probably should start doing, but I don't know. I want to have conversations. That's why I don't do it. But yeah, I've just been in my head a lot lately. But for this stream, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for the conversations over on the YouTube side of things. Vortex, I appreciate you. You're welcome for the stream. Thank you for coming by and just listening to me rant. I know wrestling is not your thing, but I appreciate you. G Coalition, I always love you, man. Thank you for coming by. Gills, thank you for coming by. I love you too. Chris came in here earlier. Thank you for being here. And LC, thank you for being here as well. Over on the Rumble side of things, if you are a lurker, thank you for lurking. It sort of helps, but I would definitely love to have some conversations over at Rumble. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. Stay tuned to my Instagram and like, you know, any other stuff. You know what? I'll just put it here. Did I spell it right? No. I didn't spell it right. And for like when I go live. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you on the next time. Thank you for being part of a really long episode of the Square Circle Podcast, hosted by yours truly, Marie Shad.